So my plan was to discover Ethiopian food, the culture, the people, and then make a video like this one. What's up guys, this is Andong coming to you from Ethiopia this week. You're my friend, and you are my friend, and you are my friend. But things did not quite go as planned. Let me explain. Let me take you all the way to Eastern Africa, where Ethiopia has some of the world's most incredible nature, history, and of course, cuisine. I had never actually tasted Ethiopian food before, so I was super excited to arrive in Addis Ababa, the country's sprawling and busy capital. Me and my buddy Song found ourselves in midst of the pre-festivities to Timkat, which is a huge traditional holiday that was coming up. Everything was still a-okay at this point, and one of the first things I wanted to check out was Ethiopia's legendary coffee culture. Ethiopia is actually where coffee was first discovered as a drink over 1,000 years ago. Conditions in the region are so good for the coffee plant, in fact, that great coffee grows almost by itself. There's a coffee stand at almost every corner, and after you watch this skillful traditional coffee ceremony, you'll be rewarded with the freshest ever roasted and brewed on-demand coffee. First sip of real Ethiopian coffee here with my buddy Song. We're dipping this. I still have to find out what this twig is. I keep seeing this for coffee. Still have to find out what it is. Smells slightly lemony, fresh. The coffee itself. Cheers. Cheers. Let's try this. Oh, it's strong and good.
Wow, wow, wow. Really good.
It's really intense, really full-bodied. Wow, so fresh. Not as sour as I thought. Wow.
It's good, huh?
Wow, that's good coffee. I definitely look forward to 2 weeks of amazing coffee. Cheers.
Cheers.
Alright, so far so good. On we went discovering Addis. Ethiopia actually has one of the world's fastest growing economies, clearly, because there is construction everywhere, largely brought in by Chinese companies. And where there are Chinese people, there is always Chinese food. So I know this place really doesn't look like that much, but this is probably the closest thing that Ethiopia has to a Chinatown. There are a bunch of Chinese restaurants here, there are a bunch of Chinese supermarkets here where you can buy a few Chinese ingredients. There are a few local produce sellers that sell a lot of the stuff that you might need for Chinese food. We might see Chinatown here in maybe a decade or so.
来这边吃饭的人主要是中国人吗？华人吗？大部分是中国人，本地人回来吃吗？
也有。
这边中国人多不多
7、8万这些。
哦，已经算很多吧。
他在下面工地上。
我都不知道你们这边有中国饭店。
很多。
很多吗？
有50家。
50家。都在这附近吗？
So I was really beginning to enjoy Ethiopia until, you know what happened next? I got mugged. I got my wallet stolen. And I actually somehow managed to get it back, but it was still extremely unpleasant. I mean, you get it. It's just not the kind of thing you want to happen to you on your first day in a new country. So we decided to get out of town and travel on to other places, which is where I really started to realize what living conditions in Ethiopia were really like. You know, I've traveled to every continent, but it really did feel different at times. Let me be frank here, the poverty was shocking, and what was particularly heartbreaking is that in these desperate conditions, something like this can happen. Once I realized that there was no real way to avoid this or ignore this in Ethiopia, I caught myself closing down, avoiding eye contact. I just wanted to get from point A to point B instead of enjoying all those authentic, nice, random moments with people and places that happen in between. And sadly, most of the time I felt like it was the smartest thing to just leave the camera in the back. I don't know guys, what would you have done? As travelers, leave me a comment down below and tell me how you handle these kinds of situations. What is your name?
Fatima.
Fatima.
Yes.
Fatima. Very nice to meet you, Fatima.
Nice. German, Ethiopia, my friend.
Yes.
Yes.
You are my friend, Fatima.
Complete Ethiopia, German, my friend. My brother. Yes.
Just like anywhere else, most people in Ethiopia are super nice. You just need to come prepared that not everybody is, and a thick skin will definitely help. It might be worth it for some because Ethiopia does have a lot of beauty and rich tradition to offer. What you're seeing here, for example, is people celebrating the traditional holiday of Timkat, which was truly impressive. And let's not forget about the food. Let me take you to this bustling market in Dire Dawa, Ethiopia's second largest city, where locals buy massive amounts of onions, all sorts of vegetables, legumes, bread, and of course spices. Ethiopian cuisine is really centered around spices, but at the same time it's not extremely hot spicy, which is kind of cool. Oh, and you might notice the absence of meat on the market. Even though you might see the occasional street butcher, a lot of meat is sold here in the form of, well, live animals. That's because there's no reliable cooling chain to safely transport meat. Actually, being a majority Orthodox Christian country, Ethiopia has regular fasting days. And to that, the culture has adapted with a whole variety of delicious vegetarian fasting foods. Which finally brings us to the final chapter and the grand finale, the tasting. What is Ethiopian food like? I just ordered this incredible Ethiopian feast. This is not just for me, this is for me and my friend Song, who is right now holding the camera. He's extremely hungry, so I better get to it quickly. What do we have here? The most important thing is all of these dishes are served on this. This is a very special type of bread called injera, and it's a typical Ethiopian sourdough flatbread. Yeah, let's call it that. It's made from teff, which is a grain native to Ethiopia. Teff is ground into a fine flour and fermented into a sourdough until you get something like this. So, what did we order? We ordered a whole bunch of mixed dishes. There is tips, which is a mix between a stir fry and a stew. And we have some beef tips here. I'm gonna grab some of the tips with my injera, like this. Wow, spices are really mild. You have some onion, some garlic. But what really makes it special is that I'm eating this with this very, very sour injera bread. Look, the injera is huge. Very tender beef. Okay, now let's try the next dish. Now I'm gonna try kitfo. Kitfo is minced meat. Typically, it's raw minced meat. Sometimes it's lamb, sometimes it's beef. I'm not sure if I can handle raw meat in a foreign country, so I ordered medium well kitfo. The spices look incredible. It smells so good. Wow, it's mildly spicy, but the spice mix is incredible. Unlike anything I've ever eaten. It's this typical Ethiopian spice mix that is just amazing. I think a lot of it is Berber spice, very, very common in Ethiopia. Wow. Okay, now let me try this. This is a chicken wat. What is the name for all of the Ethiopian stews that are very common? Like most dishes here are wats. And I'm gonna try some of this wat, which I think has chicken. Wow, that's really good. It's so tender, and the spices are very, very mild, but still very, very fragrant and flavorful. Wow, I love this. All of these dishes taste incredible with this injera bread.
Sorry, aber ich muss jetzt hier mal reinhauen. Was
Alles geil.
ist alles geil?
Alright, now excuse us while we enjoy our delicious Ethiopian feast. I hope you like this little journey to Africa. This week, my Patreon supporters can experience a little piece of Ethiopian breakfast culture with a recipe for chechepsa, which is kind of like this delicious, spicy breakfast pancake with honey. If you enjoy my videos, why not go ahead and check out these? I'll be back next week with some delicious cooking action, and I hope to see you then. Bye.